My wife finally explained why she'd grown distant. I said nothing and didn't interrupt. While she expected anger or questions, I made one silent decision that night, which slowly shifted control away from her. I need you to understand that this isn't about you. Those were the first words out of her mouth when she finally sat me down. I'd been waiting 3 months for this conversation. 3 months of watching her pull away, turn cold, stay late at work, guard her phone like it contained nuclear launch codes. And now she was ready to talk. I didn't say anything, just nodded, waited. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. I'm 34, married for 7 years, no kids yet. We've been trying for the past 2 years with no success, and somewhere in that process, something between us had broken. She sat across from me at our kitchen table, hands wrapped around a coffee mug she wasn't drinking from. Her eyes were red but dry. I've been seeing someone. The words hung in the air like smoke. I felt my chest tighten, but I kept my face neutral. Didn't flinch. Didn't interrupt. She'd expected something from me right then. I could tell. Anger maybe. Questions. Accusations. Instead, I just kept looking at her, waiting for her to continue. She seemed almost disappointed by my silence. His name is Derek. He works in my department. It started 4 months ago. For months. 1 month longer than I'd suspected something was wrong. We've been talking mostly. Meeting for coffee. Lunch sometimes. It's not physical yet, but I have feelings for him. Not physical yet. That word, yet, did more damage than anything else she'd said. It meant she'd thought about it, planned for it, was working up to it. I took a slow breath through my nose and leaned back in my chair. Still didn't speak. Her hands tightened around the mug. I don't know what I want anymore. I thought I did when we got married, but everything feels different now. The fertility treatments, the pressure, the way we've become like roommates instead of partners. She paused, clearly waiting for me to defend myself, to argue, to beg. I did none of those things. I think I need space to figure out what I want. Maybe we should try a separation, just temporary, so I can get my head straight. There it was, the ask. She wanted permission to go explore this thing with Derek while keeping me as a backup plan, a safety net in case it didn't work out. I looked at her for a long moment, really looked at her. This woman I'd built a life with, bought a house with, spent countless nights planning a future with. And somewhere in the past year, I'd stopped seeing her clearly. Stopped noticing when she stopped being mine. Okay, I said quietly. Just that one word. Her eyes widened slightly. Okay. If you need space, take it. I'm not going to stop you. She blinked, confusion crossing her face. You're not going to fight for us. I almost laughed at that. Fight for us. As if there was still an us to fight for. What would you like me to do? I asked, keeping my tone even. Beg you not to leave? Make promises about how things will be different? Get angry and make this easier for you to justify? She opened her mouth, then closed it. I'm giving you what you asked for, I continued. Space. Time to figure out what you want. But I need you to understand something. I leaned forward, meeting her eyes directly. This space goes both ways. While you're out there figuring things out, I'll be doing the same. And whatever you decide, there's no guarantee I'll be waiting on the other side of it. Something flickered across her face. Fear maybe, or realization. I don't want to lose you, she said, and for the first time, her voice cracked. Then you shouldn't have started looking for someone else while you still had me. She flinched at that. Good. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight, I said, standing up. Tomorrow we can talk about logistics. How long this separation will be, what the boundaries are, all of that. I walked out of the kitchen before she could respond. My hands didn't start shaking until I closed the guest room door behind me. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall. 7 years. 7 years of marriage, and it had come down to this. Her asking for permission to chase another man while keeping me as her fallback option. The old me would have broken down, cried, raged, begged her to reconsider. But something had shifted in me over those 3 months of watching her drift away. I'd already done my grieving. Already mourned the marriage in private. During all those nights, she came home late smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. This conversation wasn't a surprise. It was just confirmation. I pulled out my phone and opened my messages. Found my brother's contact. Typed out, need to talk. Can you call tomorrow? His response came within seconds. Everything okay? No, but it will be. I set my phone down and lay back on the bed. The ceiling of the guest room had a water stain in the corner we'd been meaning to fix for months. Funny how you notice things like that when your world is falling apart. I heard her moving around in our bedroom. Our bedroom. It was just her bedroom now, I supposed. The next morning, I woke up before her. Made coffee. Scrambled some eggs. When she came downstairs, she looked surprised to find me already dressed for work, eating breakfast like it was any other Tuesday. I thought we were going to talk about logistics, she said. We can talk tonight. I have meetings all day. I didn't have meetings. I just didn't want to spend my morning negotiating the terms of my marriage's dissolution. Oh, okay. She poured herself coffee, and we stood in awkward silence. I really do love you, she said quietly. I just need to figure out if I'm in love with you still. I took a sip of my coffee. I'll see you tonight. I left her standing in the kitchen. Work was a blur. I couldn't focus on anything. At lunch, I drove to a park and called my brother. He answered on the second ring. What's going on? I told him everything. The distance, the suspicions, the confession, the separation request. He was quiet for a long time after I finished. What are you going to do? He finally asked. I don't know. Part of me wants to blow everything up. Tell her parents. Tell his wife if he has one. Make this as messy as possible for both of them. Does he have a wife? I have no idea. I didn't ask. You didn't ask anything? No. Why not? I watched a family having a picnic nearby. 2 kids running around while their parents laughed. Because anything I asked would have sounded like I was trying to compete for her. And I'm done competing for someone who should have chosen me from the start. My brother sighed. That's mature of you. Probably healthier too. But it's also going to hurt like hell. It already does. We talked for another 20 minutes about practical things. Lawyers. Finances. What does separation actually look like legally? By the time I hung up, I felt slightly more grounded. I went back to work and actually managed to get some things done. That evening, I got home before her. Made dinner. Set the table for 2 out of habit, then put one place setting away. She came home at 7. Looked surprised to see dinner ready. You cooked. I eat dinner every night. Thought I might as well make enough for 2. We sat down. Ate in silence for a few minutes. I've been thinking about logistics, she said finally. I think a month would be good. For the separation. A month. Yeah. Long enough to get clarity, but not so long that we're just dragging things out. I cut into my chicken. And during this month, what are the boundaries? Are we dating other people? Are we still married in any meaningful sense? Are you planning to sleep with Derek? She flushed at the directness. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. Then think about it now. Because I need to know what rules we're playing by. She set down her fork. I don't want to date other people. I just need time away from the pressure of us to figure out what I'm feeling. But you'll still be seeing Derek. He's a colleague. I can't avoid him. That's not what I asked. She looked away. I don't know. Maybe. Probably. I need to see if what I'm feeling is real or just escapism. Okay. You've made it clear that you need to explore this. I'm not going to pretend that isn't what this separation is about. What about you? She asked. Are you going to see other people? I thought about it. I honestly don't know. I haven't considered it. Would you tell me if you did? Would you tell me about Derek? She bit her lip. I don't know. Then I guess we both have our answer. We finished dinner in tense silence. Afterward, I cleaned up while she went upstairs. When I came up an hour later, she was packing a suitcase. I thought you'd be the one to leave, she said. This is my house too. I'm not going anywhere. She paused, a sweater half folded in her hands. I paid into this house just as much as you did. I know, but I'm not the one who wants space. If you need distance, you're welcome to create it. I'm staying put. She looked like she wanted to argue, but something in my expression stopped her. She finished packing, carried her suitcase downstairs, paused at the front door. I'll text you. Let you know where I'm staying. Sure. This doesn't have to be the end, she said, tears in her eyes now. We can come back from this. I didn't respond. She wanted reassurance that I'd be waiting. That no matter what she did or how long she explored things with Derek, I'd be here ready to take her back. I wasn't going to give her that comfort. She left. I heard her car start, heard her drive away, and then the house was silent. I stood in the entryway for a long time, just breathing. Then I went to the kitchen and poured myself a drink. Whiskey neat. Sat on the couch and stared at nothing. My phone buzzed an hour later. Her. I'm staying at the Marriott downtown. Room 412. Just so you know where I am. I didn't respond. Another text came 10 minutes later. Her. Are you okay? Me. I'm fine. Enjoy your space. I turned my phone off after that. The next few days were strange. I went to work, came home, existed. The house felt too big and too quiet without her, but also oddly peaceful. No more walking on eggshells. No more analyzing every word and gesture to figure out her mood. No more pretending everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. On Friday, my brother came over with beer and pizza. "You look like hell," he said by way of greeting. "Thanks." We ate and drank and watched basketball. Didn't talk about her for the first hour. Then, during halftime, he asked, "Have you heard from her?" A few texts. Checking in. Asking how I'm doing. "Have you responded?" "Barely. Just enough to be polite." "Is she still seeing that guy?" "I assume so. She hasn't said otherwise." He shook his head. "I still can't believe she thought this was a reasonable thing to ask for. A separation so she can test drive another relationship while keeping you on hold. People do what they think they can get away with." "Are you going to actually wait for her?" I took a long drink of beer. No. I told her there's no guarantee I'd be here when she figured things out. I meant it. "What are you going to do?" "I called a lawyer yesterday. Filed for divorce." My brother's eyes widened. "You what?" "She wants space to figure out what she wants." "Fine. But I already know what I want. I want a partner who doesn't need to audition her replacement while we're still married. She can have all the space she needs. Permanently." "Have you told her?" "She'll be served papers next week." He let out a low whistle. "She's going to lose her mind." "Probably. You okay with that?" I thought about it. About the woman who'd sat across from me 5 days ago and told me she wasn't sure if she loved me anymore. The woman who'd been emotionally cheating for 4 months and physically considering it. The woman who wanted me to wait patiently while she figured out if I was good enough. "Yeah," I said. "I'm okay with it." We finished watching the game. After my brother left, I sat alone in the quiet house and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. The weekend passed slowly. She texted a few times, asking how I was, making small talk, clearly trying to maintain some connection. I responded minimally. On Sunday evening, she called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hey," I said. "Hi." Her voice was soft. "I miss you." I didn't respond to that. "How are you doing?" she asked. "I'm managing." "You. It's hard. Being away from home. From you. You're the one who wanted space." "I know. I thought it would feel more freeing. Instead, I just feel lost." "Maybe that's something you need to sit with." She was quiet for a moment. "Have you been thinking about us? About what comes next?" "I have. And I think you should use this time to really figure out what you want, without worrying about me or what I'm thinking." "But I care about what you're thinking." "Do you? Or do you just want to make sure I'm still here as an option?" "That's not fair, isn't it?" She sighed, frustrated. "I'm trying here. I know I hurt you. I know this situation is messed up, but I'm trying to be honest about what I'm feeling." "I appreciate the honesty." "I do. But honesty without consideration is just cruelty with better packaging." "What does that mean?" "It means you told me the truth about Derek because it made you feel better, not because you considered how it would make me feel. You asked for a separation because it's what you wanted, not because you thought about what it would do to me." "That's not true. I agonized over this." "You agonized over how to get what you wanted while minimizing your guilt. That's not the same thing as actually considering my feelings." She was crying now. "I don't want to lose you." "Then you shouldn't have put us in a position where that was possible. People make mistakes." "This isn't a mistake. This is a choice. You chose Derek over me. You chose your uncertainty over our marriage. You chose to blow up our life together instead of working on the problems we had. We can still work on them. It's not too late." I looked around the empty house, at the life we'd built together, at everything we were about to lose. "I need to go," I said. "Wait, please, just." I hung up, turned my phone off, sat in the silence. The next morning, I went to work early, threw myself into projects I'd been putting off, stayed late, came home to an empty house, repeated the process Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. On Friday afternoon, my lawyer called. "The papers are ready. Process server will deliver them tomorrow morning." "Where?" She listed the Marriott as her temporary address. "We'll serve her there." "Okay. Are you sure about this?" "Once she's served, it's going to get real very quickly." "I'm sure." "All right. I'll call you once it's done." I hung up and stared at my computer screen. By tomorrow, she'd know. She'd know I wasn't waiting. Wasn't hoping we'd work things out. Wasn't going to be her backup plan. I felt sick, but also strangely calm. Saturday morning, I went for a run. Came back, showered, made breakfast. My phone was still off. I turned it on around 10. 17 missed calls. 12 text messages. All from her. I didn't read the texts. Didn't listen to the voicemails. Just stared at the notifications. The doorbell rang. I knew it was her before I opened the door. She stood on the porch, still in pajamas, mascara smeared, holding the divorce papers in shaking hands. What the hell is this? It's a petition for divorce. I can see that. Why would you do this? We're supposed to be on a separation. You asked for a separation so you could figure out what you wanted. I already knew what I wanted. I wanted a wife who was sure about me. Since that's not you, I'm moving on. You can't just give up on us like this. I'm not giving up. I'm accepting reality. You don't want to be married to me anymore. You made that clear. I never said that. You said you weren't sure if you were in love with me. You said you had feelings for another man. You asked for space to explore those feelings. What part of that sounds like someone who wants to stay married? She was full-on sobbing now. I was confused. I was scared. The fertility stuff, the pressure. I just needed time to breathe. And I'm giving you all the time you need. Without me waiting in the wings for you to decide I'm good enough. This is about Derek, isn't it? You're punishing me for being honest. This is about self-respect. I'm not going to compete for my own wife. If you need to audition other options to figure out if I'm worth keeping, then I've already lost. I wasn't auditioning anyone. I was just trying to understand my feelings. By developing feelings for someone else. While married to me. Do you hear yourself? She crumpled onto the porch step, papers falling from her hands. I made a mistake. I know I did. But you can't just throw away 7 years because I had doubts. I sat down next to her. Not touching. Just sitting. I'm not throwing anything away. You already did that when you went looking for someone else instead of working on us. We can still work on us. Please. I'll end things with Derek. I'll do whatever it takes. You'll end things with Derek because I'm divorcing you. Not because you want to. Not because you realized what you had. But because I'm taking away your safety net. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. That's not true, isn't it? Be honest with yourself. If I had responded the way you expected, if I'd begged and pleaded and promised to change, would you really have ended things with Derek? Or would you have kept him around, just in case? She didn't answer. That was answer enough. I can change, she whispered. I can be better. Maybe you can. But not for me. Not anymore. I stood up. You should go. Take some time to read through the papers. Get a lawyer. We can handle this civilly. I don't want to handle this at all. I want my husband back. Your husband was the man who you were sure about, who you chose every day, who you built a life with. I'm not that man anymore. Because you're not that woman. We're different people now. People who want different things. How can you be so cold about this? I looked at her for a long moment. I'm not cold. I'm just done burning myself to keep you warm. I went inside, closed the door, locked it, leaned against it, and listened to her cry on the other side. After a while, I heard her car start, heard her drive away. I slid down to sit on the floor. And finally, I cried. Not for the marriage we'd had. Not for the future we'd planned. But for the man I'd been before all this. The man who'd trusted completely. Who'd believed in forever. That man was gone. And I mourned him. The next few weeks were a blur of lawyers and paperwork and logistics. She tried to fight it at first. Kept calling, texting, showing up. Begging for another chance. But I held firm. Eventually, she stopped fighting. Accepted that I was serious. We divided things up with surprising civility. She got the car she preferred. I kept the house. We split savings down the middle. No alimony, since we both worked. Clean break. My brother helped me pack up her remaining things. How you holding up? He asked, taping a box of her books. Some days are better than others. Have you heard from her lately? Not in about a week. Her lawyer handles everything now. That's probably for the best. Yeah. We worked in silence for a while. Can I ask you something? He said. Sure. Do you regret it? Filing when you did. I thought about it. About the woman who'd asked for space to chase another man. About the conversations we'd never have now. About the life we'd never build. No, I said. I regret that it came to this. I regret that she chose to handle her doubts the way she did. But I don't regret protecting myself. That's mature. It's survival. We finished packing. Loaded everything into her friend's truck. She was supposed to pick it up the next day. That night, I walked through the empty house. Looked at the spaces where her things used to be. The bare spots on the walls where her pictures had hung. The empty side of the closet. The bathroom counter with only my toothbrush. It felt like an ending. But also, strangely, like a beginning. 3 months later, the divorce was finalized. I got the paperwork in the mail on a Tuesday. Stared at it for a long time. 7 years of marriage, reduced to legal documents and signatures. My brother took me out that night. Insisted on buying me drinks and dinner. To new beginnings, he said, raising his glass. To new beginnings, I echoed. We drank. Have you thought about dating? He asked. Not really. I'm not ready for that yet. That's fair. Take your time. What about her? Have you heard anything? He shifted uncomfortably. You really want to know? I'm curious. She's still with Derek. They went public about 2 months ago. Coworkers say they're pretty serious. I nodded. It didn't hurt as much as I thought it would. Good for them. You mean that? I mean, I hope she's happy. And I hope she's learned something. But mostly, I hope I never have to think about it again. We finished dinner and went our separate ways. I drove home through empty streets, parked in my driveway, looked at the house that was finally, completely mine, and I felt something I hadn't felt in almost a year. Peace. Not happiness exactly. Not yet. But peace. The kind that comes from knowing you made the right choice, even when it was the hard one. I went inside, made tea, sat on the couch, and for the first time in months, I didn't think about her at all. I thought about tomorrow, about the projects I wanted to tackle, the hobbies I wanted to pick up again, the version of myself I wanted to become. The man who'd loved her was gone, but the man who'd survived her was still here, still standing, still moving forward. And that, I thought, was enough. 6 months after the divorce, I ran into her at a coffee shop. Pure coincidence. I was meeting a friend. She was there with Derek. Our eyes met across the room. She looked the same, but different somehow, harder around the edges. Or maybe I was just seeing her clearly for the first time. She said something to Derek and walked over. Hey, she said. Hey. How are you? I'm good. You? I'm okay. Getting by. Awkward silence. I heard you bought a new car, she said. Yeah. The old one finally died. I saw you got a promotion too. Congratulations. Thanks. How's work for you? It's fine. Same old stuff. More silence. Listen, she said finally. I've been wanting to reach out. To apologize. For how everything went down. You don't need to apologize. Yes, I do. I handled everything wrong. I hurt you. And I'm sorry. I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman I'd loved. Who I'd planned a life with. Who'd broken my heart and taught me what I wouldn't accept. I appreciate that, I said. I hope you're happy. I am. Mostly. Are you? Yeah. I really am. And I meant it. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I should get back. It was good seeing you. You too. She walked back to Derek. I watched them for a moment. Saw the way she leaned into him. The way he put his arm around her. And I felt nothing. No jealousy. No regret. No longing. Just nothing. My friend arrived a few minutes later. Was that your ex? She asked, glancing over at them. Yeah. You okay? I smiled. I really am. We ordered coffee and talked about completely different things. About life and work and everything that had nothing to do with my past. And when I left that coffee shop, I didn't look back. Not once. Because the woman sitting with Derek wasn't my problem anymore. Wasn't my concern. Wasn't my anything. She was just someone I used to know. Someone who'd taught me an important lesson. About self-respect. About knowing when to walk away. About refusing to be anyone's backup plan. The man who'd sat quietly at that kitchen table 7 months ago, listening to his wife confess her feelings for another man, was gone. The man who'd made that silent decision to value himself more than the marriage was still here. Stronger. Wiser. Free. And that man was walking toward a future that had nothing to do with her. A future built on his own terms. With his own rules. And his own worth. That night, I got home and stood in my living room. The same living room where I'd sat after she left. Where I'd mourned. Where I'd cried. Where I'd started to rebuild. It looked different now. New furniture. New paint. New pictures on the walls. A new life taking shape. I poured myself a drink. Raised it to the empty room. To knowing when to let go, I said out loud. And I drank. To endings. To beginnings. To the power of walking away from people who made you an option. To choosing yourself. Always.